Hello everyone, congratulations! You officially started learning about Dynamo, and you are practicing serious examples about it. The examples which I give you, I put their notes along them too. If it would be necessary, you can open their notes in the Dynamo and then check them. I mean that each practice I gave you, both its picture and its note, which I draw it before, have been set already. Alright, if you don't mind, let's get to the new node, which is line. That means by the points which we have created them before, we can create a line, a simple and a straight line. To do that, you just need to right click and search line. Naturally, we are facing again with various models of line. The model which we are supposed to talk about is a start point and end point, which means a line that we have to give it a start and end point. After you click on it, we usually check its input and output ports. For inputs, we have a start point and end point, which as you can see, they are two red points because they don't have default value, but usually numbers and directions do. Alright, and its output is a line. We need to give it 2 points. Well, right click and then search point. Well, for example on 0. Alright, Ctrl C, Ctrl V, and for example an integer, yes, here. And if I give a number to its x and its y, then a point will be made. Well, let's get to the start and end point. I'm gonna give it to the start point and here give it to the end point. Very simple. And there is a question which is, does it matter which one we give to start or end point? Well, apparently it has no difference. But in terms of software, when you give this point as the start point, the beginning of the line is here, which means the 0 of the line is here. 1, which is end of the line, is here. For example, when you want to apply the other nodes on it, which it's important for them that where the start and end point of the line is, it will be effective. That which point you select as a start point or the end point. Alright, if you agree with me, let's give to Z as well. And here we go. And by this way, we can control our line. Well, no special point here. It's a very simple job. Fine, I'm gonna add a new point. Yes, put it here. For example, I give it to Y, which makes it be here. And after that, I could copy from it 2 times. Yes. Well, and now if this point is here, I'm gonna give it as the start point and give this point as the end point and give it again as the start point and this one as the end point. Yes. For example, I made a triangle here. Alright, Ctrl B, and I can control the triangle with this. Yes, as you can see, like this. The template is a simple thing, and I don't think we're gonna have a problem. In the next part, we're gonna see another special feature of code block, which is making consecutive numbers with a specified rhythm, so we can make more lines by them. I'm gonna explain it to you with pictures. Let me show you that how it's going. Yes, right here. Alright, here we go. Okay. Let me just tell you, this part is so important. Making consecutive numbers with code block with a specified rhythm. There are 3 states which by them you can make consecutive numbers with code block. I don't know that you want to remember it or you want to practice until you master on it or whatever else. You use it a lot, which means from this moment on, each practice that we give you, this subject of making consecutive numbers with code block will happen again and again. So practice well, don't forget it. so that you can do practices related to this subject well. Alright, the first state. This is what we write in the code block. One number here, 2 points, again one number, 2 points, one number. In some cases, hashtags are added to them. If we have the first number, then 2 points, and the second number, 2 points, and another number, the first state happens, which makes in this way. Start from A, go to the maximum B, pay attention to maximum, which means it may not reach B. How? N by N. To understand it better, let's see its examples. Well, for example, 123. Well, according to this, start from A, it means start from 1. And go to the maximum B, which means go to the maximum 23 by 3. So what's the result? Start from 1, then keep it going on 3 by 3. It can't be more than 19 because the next one is 22. But our maximum B, as you can see, is 20. So 22 is more than 20. So it cannot be. Okay, let's review it. So start from A, which is 1. Then go to the maximum B, which is 20, then 3 by 3. What if now we give it minus? Alright, let's check this out. Minus 10, and 2, 10, and 3 by 3. Alright, let's review it again. Minus 10 to 10, 3 by 3. For example, minus 10, minus 7, minus 4, minus 1, 2, 5, and 8. The next one is 11, and 11 cannot be because it's more than 10 and our maximum B is 10. There's a tip which you should pay attention to. It's like 1 to 20 or minus 10 to 10, but they cannot change their places because the number on the left is always smaller than the number on the right. Actually, it's not acceptable. Which means you cannot say from 10 to 1, 3 by 3. There are other techniques. If it is necessary, rewind this part of the video, then watch it multiple times to be good enough in this part. Of course, we get to the Dynamo now. We are going to check its various states. Don't worry about that. For the second state, a hashtag comes before B. That this state is more useful than the previous one. Well, actually, these two states are more useful than the first one. Well, it says start from A, start from 1, keep going on N by N, keep going on 3 by 3, to the amount of B, alright, start from 1, right here, 3 by 3, and we're gonna make 20 numbers. So if you start from 1, 3 by 3, and you make 20 numbers, you reach 57. I wrote it here. In this state, we don't know what number it goes to. But in this state, we know how many numbers are made. And what is the distance between the numbers? Now we know that we have 20 numbers here, which the distance between them is 3, and it started with 1. But we don't know its end. Although it can be calculated, but we didn't tell what its end is. So start from 1, make 20 numbers with a distance of 3. Start from 1, 3 by 3, 20 numbers. Alright, this was state 2, which is so useful. Well, let's get to state 3. In here, hashtag comes before N. It says divided from A to B by N minus 1. Maybe this definition is not perceptible. Hence, I put another one which says from A to B itself. That means both A and B must be in our numbers. From A to B itself make N numbers. It means from A to B divided by N minus 1, that N numbers that are included are both A and B itself. Alright, let's get to its examples to make it clear. Well, from A to B itself, from 1 to 20 itself. Hence, the first one is always 1 and the last one is always 20. and then make 3 numbers that its distances should be equal. So it is like 1, 10.5, and 20. It added 9.5 to 1 to reach 10.5, and added 9.5 to 10.5 to reach 20. If it would be 0 and 20, the first one was 0 and the last one was 20. And it should make 3 numbers. Well, from 0 it goes forward by 10 to reach 10 and then 20. Well, in this state, you may have your number from big to small. But for example, as you saw it before, it couldn't be. But here it can be 10 to 0, here 10 to 0, 3 numbers. 10, 5, 0. Naturally, these distances must be equal. When we make 3 numbers, are you agreed with me that we have 2 parts? So it divides by n-1, and it's the reason of that. So the point of this state is the first number is always A, and the last one is B. It's not like this. As you see, it's maximum B. It means the number you wrote here may not be in your numbers, but surely in the third state it is. For example, when you have parametric volume, which its precise length is specified, you cannot use the first state, because the number that you gave as the length, maybe there is not in your numbers. But if you use from the third state, you're sure the last number is the number that we wrote it here, and the distance between these two, based on this number you gave, is divided and some numbers will be made. Well, if you agree with me, let's get to Dynamo and then create all of these states. There's an important tip that you should guess what numbers are made now before you see the result. Alright, let's put it right here. Yes. Okay, double click here and code block. Let's start with this one. We tell it that start with 0 to maximum 2 points, to maximum 30, yes, 2 points, and with steps of 3. Click on outside. To see the result, move your mouse on it and then go to the result, then click on pin. Okay, 0, 3 to 30. Since the distance among them was divisible by 3, we have 30 here as well. Okay, let's change it to 4. And the result is different, 0 to 20, 28. Look at it, it starts with the first one and goes forward with the steps that we gave it. Let me tell you a point here. If you want to see the result without clicking on pin, you can use a node which is called watch. To add it on the screen, you just need to right click, then search watch. Yes, click on it. If you put it here and give this output to it, it is like the results board that will tell you this node's output. Okay, let me give you another tip here. Well, as you can see, there are some numbers in these rectangles that we call them index. Okay, let me write it here for you. Yes, index. Index actually specify the order of the node's outputs. It can be word or number or point or even volume. Indexes always start from 0. So if the number of this node's output, is 8, yes, our last index is 7. So what is the number of this node's output? As you can see in front of list word, it's written 8, which means it has 8 outputs. Since indexes start from 0, the last number of index is always 1 less than the number. We have a lot to do with them. We learn the definitions, and little by little we make a special use of them. Alright, let's get to another example. Okay, I wanted to start from 12 to 100 with steps of 7. Kind of complicated. Click on outside. How many numbers did it give to me? Move your mouse on 3 dots and it's 13. To see the numbers, you can move your mouse here or take another watch from it. Yes. Okay. See? Yes. It started from 12 with the steps of 7. It's 12 to 96. I think you are good enough at the first state now. Its very important point is that the number you write here may not be in your list. The distance of the numbers is this, yes. Well, let's get to the next state, which is so useful. It starts from A with steps of n, and then give the number of the numbers. Alright, over here, for example, start from 0, hashtag. You can do it by holding shift and the number of 3. I need 20 numbers with distance of 2.5. Okay, with distance of 2.5. With which number? From 0. So the first one is 0, the next one is 2.5, the next one is 5, and etc. How many numbers does it make? Naturally 20. And here is its numbers. So we don't know the last number, and probably we don't care too much. Our priority is knowing the number of the numbers, that it has to be 20 exactly, and their distances should be 2.5. Well, you tell me now. We have indexes here. What is the number of our last index? As you can see, we have 20. So what is the number of our last index? Great job, it's 19. For example, in programming, if you want to call the number of 17.5, you'll say in this list the number of 7 index. That we have its code as well. See, get item add index. We have nothing to do with it now. I give it to this and then say I want the number of 7 index. And as you can see, the result is 17.5. For this reason we say indexes matter. We can specify, then call the location of numbers, letters, or the outputs within the nodes by the indexes. Let's get to another example, okay? These states need to be practiced by many examples because they are so useful. Okay, for example, it starts from -10, and for example, it makes 4 numbers with the steps of 5. Okay, can you guess that? The first one is -10, okay, the next one is -5, good. The next one is 0, great. And the next one is 5. Okay, it's done because it makes 4 numbers. And the result is, as I told you, the number of the numbers and the distance of numbers. And this one is our beginning. Well, you got it? Fine, let's get to the next one. Okay. In the next state, its beginning and end are specified, and numbers are made between them. For example, from 0 to 100, how many numbers do you need? For example, I want 50. Yes. So it divides it from 0 to 100 by 49, n minus 1, which is 49. As the result, they're all decimal. Well, now, if I change it to 51, yes, there will be 50 parts instead, and they all became integer. I wrote this n minus 1 in order that you notice it is not 51 parts, it is 50 parts. So, what does this 51 mean? This 51 means your output is 51 numbers. And both A and B are in it as well. So 0 is at the beginning and absolutely 100 is at the end. And there are some numbers between them, which makes it 51 numbers in total. Well, we have 49 parts. Let me show you them. Here is one of them, and between these two, and etc. Alright, another one. Okay, -5 to 7, okay. For example, how many parts? We needed to make 10 numbers. It means it has -5 and 7 and the other 8 numbers. As you can see, -5 and 7, and between them there are 8 other numbers. And we have 9 parts. Yes, 10 numbers as you can see and 9 parts. Alright, well, let's get to the conclusion. In this state, in the first state, when we say A and B, B may not be in our list. Okay, in the next one, in the second state, we don't specify the end. We say number of the numbers and their distances. And the last, not the least, we specify the beginning and the end. And number of the numbers that there are between them. Please practice what we have practiced so far. Write some code blocks, these hashtags and etc. I hope that you choose short periods so that you will be able to guess their numbers. Please, please, please practice chapter very well, please, because we have much to do with it. For example, while I'm working these states, you're wondering and you're thinking that what is going on because you didn't practice well. So please practice it very much, very well, work on it. Most of you may use the first state more than others, but they're wrong because the other 2 states are more useful than the first one. In this chapter, we taught you lie, which had nothing special, and making consecutive numbers with code blocks. Okay, this is it. Goodbye.